Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, September 4th, and we're looking at the last 2 days of the market profiles, SPY ETF on Window Trader. And believe it or not, I just spoke for about 15 minutes and the recording wasn't on, so I'm a little exhausted, so I'm going to probably do a shorter one. My goodness. Anyway, the market kind of did what we expected it to do over these last couple of days, because I thought for 4 or 5 weeks, I said I thought we were going to have a pretty quiet time period. I thought the market got certainly stretched out earlier this week, looking for it to trade sideways. I said I expect a day or two of a quick flush, and then we'll be quiet again going through Labor Day week. I still expect it to be fairly quiet next week, although we have a huge balance to trade in now. And that's basically what this market did. Now, for my money's worth, absolutely short-term traders over the last 9 days, over the last 2 or 3 weeks that just got out and shorts piled on. And then shorts got out when they saw in H&I they weren't getting much for their efforts to go home flat. For my money's worth, that's all this is. I do think we still have some more downside to the 327, 332 level, somewhere around there to take out a couple other weekly lows. The question is, do we do it next week, or do we have an inside week and wait for the bigger boys to come back after the holiday on the 14th to start trading? Again, I think a lot of people take off this next week. We had an excellent day in the room. I had an excellent week, especially these last 2 days. My trades this morning are basically called the high and the low. I said this morning in the video and in a consultation last night, if we get any kind of push up to G's high and F's high, I will take a put play. And I played every trade today was September 4th, today's expiration. I took a 350 put with decent size, took it, came back through the opening, and then I got out of it right around M because we dipped out towing. I didn't know we'd get acceptance in it or not, but it was a very nice trade. B trade turned out to be even better. Couldn't get to the opening. I said the odds of us taking out that weekly low and filling the gap are very good if we take out A's low. I actually played Innovator, which has cost me in the past, but I played it. I bought the 345 puts. We came down, took out A's low, yesterday's low, flushed out, got the gap and the weekly low. 2 beautiful trades, A and B. Now, C period started. I should have taken a short. I was getting a little picky to see if we would trade up a little bit more, less single prints, so I didn't do it. Flushed out hard. Got down, took out another weekly low. I said, we have nothing now until 332.01. I said, I think we're going to get at least a bounce here because I think this market now is incredibly stretched again. I bought the 335 calls that expired today, and immediately this thing went up about $1.50, $2. Beautiful trade, took them off. I took another long then in D because D could not take out C's low, and I always say if you don't take out the previous time frame low, those single prints are probably not going to hold. We had 2 sets today, right? One up here and then this one. Well, we didn't take out C's low. I got long again. Same one, 335 calls, went up, didn't fill the gap, but E period did. Stopped the one-time framing down, filled the gap, had a nice trade. Once we filled the gap and then pulled back, I was looking to take a short. Did I take a short? I did take a short. I took a small short when we came back in, and then it started going back up again in E. So after we filled the singles, I thought it would be, a lot of times we fill the singles and roll over. So when we rolled over, I took a quick short, but it didn't work. Lost small on that one. Then when F took out E's high, I took another long. This time I took the 339 calls, believe it or not, because I thought we were going to at least get and test the second set of single prints. And that's exactly what we did. And when we got in them and then started tapering off, I got out of the trade for a nice one. Now G period. G period, I couldn't call an afternoon rally high because we still had single prints. But I thought we were not going to fill them right away. I thought we would have trouble at last week's low now that we got back to it. We were at half back, and at the time we were at value high. So 3 times I scalped 3 lots of 30 puts for between 20 and 30 cents. And then on the last one, I took a 100 lot when it got to its high and started riding it down and even held some when H period started and took out G's low and started riding down. Very nice trade. After that, I wasn't going to get long here. I was looking, if we really pushed the values low, I would have. I'm using this as an afternoon pullback low. But we didn't get low enough. This was total uncertainty for me here, so I said I didn't want to do anything. I did take a short play in K. Now here's where I missed one. J period, when J came back and took out G's high, I said we're filling the singles. So instead of getting long, I waited and then took a short when we filled the singles, because a lot of times they fill them and come back in, like I did in D. That one didn't work. I took it pretty much up here. It did work. It came back down, but I didn't stay married to it. And then again, I took a long in L when we got above K, thinking we would get the open and didn't. Took it off for another nice trade. Read the market very well again today. KL and M got a little erratic. Once we filled the singles, I told my room I was neutral because of that. All right, can't be more honest than that. And we had a good day. All right, destinations, as I'm losing my voice. Upside 345.40. I'm using that as an afternoon rally high. By no stretch of the imagination are these by the book afternoon rally highs or pullbacks, but I'm using them since our range is so big. Then we have today's high 347.83, and you should have all the single prints and everything from yesterday, from last night's video. If not, please watch it. And 358.75 is now a weekly high and the all-time high from yesterday. Now, downside. 338.46 afternoon pullback. I'm using today's low of 334.87 is a weekly low. 332.01, which is that weekly low that I'm talking about below that, and 331.13 daily low, filling the gap at 330.06, 107-point gap from August 5th, which I still believe we should get before we get to all-time highs again. Okay. Now, let's get to the charts. Oof. Let's start from the top down. Monthly. One time framing up 5 months. Yes, we're inside last month's range, right? But we did certainly dip below February's high and range. Now, again, it's a monthly, so it's going to take a while. But it's still very healthy. Monthly is still very healthy. I'm not going to get more concerned unless we close and get accepted below February's high. I'd get very concerned if we take out last month's low. Okay. Weekly. Look at this week. We actually had a chance for an outside week down. I mean, last week's low was 341.06. We got as low as 334.87. So the odds were very good early in the day. But that's why I also went long down there. It was ridiculously stretched out from today and yesterday. So I took that long once we took out this week's low, 335.22, because the next destination was 332.01. I said if they're going to get that, they're not going to do it in C period. We'll balance a bit and then roll over and go back and take out that week's low. That's why I took that call play. And it worked out beautifully. Now, we have a huge balance. There's a good chance we could have an inside week, right? We only have 4 days next week. However, if we do take out either side, I think the odds are very strong we take out this week's low and then finally get that 332 low and then test that 327, 330 level. Eventually, I'm looking for that. Whether it's next week or the week after, I'm not sure. But that's what I'm looking for. I would think the odds are slim we take out this week's high next week or even after an inside week to take it out the week after. I know this market's crazy and it could do that. But I think the odds are still better for more downside before we make a new high. Firmly balanced right now. And the balance is yesterday and today's high and low. And then in the daily, I'm calling it down, right? So the monthly's healthy still. The weekly went to balance and the daily went to down. One time framing down 2 days. Took out a lot of pause. Look at this. Look at this grind up. So 2 weeks ago, folks, we talked at around the 340 level. Where are we? I think it was, I forget which day it was. But we talked around the 340 levels, and it's getting stretched out. But we broke out of, it had to be above that because we broke out of balance up here. Maybe it was around the 345 level. And we just kept grinding. I said, look, yep, bull, balance yesterday, and now I'll call this down. So it changed. Look at the way they took the staircase up one step at a time and just wiped it all out in 2 days. It's amazing how the market cleanses itself. Question is it done? We'll see. We had an awesome week in CamelbackTrading.org's voice channel room. The goal on days like today is to keep people out of trouble in those first 3 time frames and tell them you either need to be short or on the sidelines, and do not try to attempt to pick a bottom. Yes, I did do that, and I told them again, I'm not saying they should do it, and I don't think they should do it. Wait for two-sided trade, which once again we got starting in D period. Have a great weekend. Stay safe all. Come check us out. And I'll speak to you prior to the opening on Tuesday.